A single brief encounter inside the outpost is the only mention of one of the most important historical events after the sealing of the Ark. Something that can easily be skipped for the reward or lost to time as the game's story progresses far into the future. Easily missed and easily forgotten, the events of the goddess' fall that shook the very foundations of the last bastion of mankind, changing the Ark and humanity forever. Inside the outpost, there are brief encounters that show us the interactions between the Nikkes and the commanders during their daily lives around the outpost. Obtaining new Nikkes unlocks more of these brief encounters, as their new home is now the outpost. Some encounters are silly and fun, while others can be sad or serious. But one encounter in particular is accessible from the very moment you gain access to the outpost. Clicking on the elevator to the left of the command center, where you gain access to the rehabilitation center, will bring up the brief encounter named Elevator Ghost Story. Upon opening this encounter, you will find yourself inside the new freight elevator in the outpost, with Rappy, Anise, and Neon. Rappy and Anise talk about the new elevator as they test its functionality, but Neon mentions how the elevator reminds her of the historical event of the goddess' fall, and the resulting ghost stories that came from it. After the completion of Operation Ark Guardian and the sealing of the Ark underground, humanity's views on Nikkes changed over time for the worse. As time went on, sorties to the surface were many and unsuccessful. Attempts made by mankind to fight back against the Raptures, who claimed the surface as their own, had proved futile with the mass-produced Nikkes that were designed to replace the goddess squad that they abandoned. Each failed mission, as well as the struggling condition of the inhabitants of the newly completed Ark, slowly grew the seeds of hate towards the Nikkes who were made to protect mankind. Only fueled by the negligence of the central government to control its citizens and their active destruction of any trace of the goddess squad or Grimm's models. Gazing up to the heavens above and wishing to seek salvation. 30 years before the events of the beginning of the game's story, the hate towards Nikkes was so intense that it became a common phenomenon, known as Nikkephobia. Every day, mass-produced Nikkes were shunned and ridiculed, blamed for humanity's defeat and retreat underground because they could not defeat the Raptures in battle. Nikke rights were stripped away, abuse cases were common, and Nikke trafficking for prostitution boomed in the Outer Rim. They were useless, failures, wastes of material, buckets of junk. Humanity's saviors that couldn't do the very thing they were designed to do. As the hate grew to a fever pitch, a large group of mass-produced Nikkes had finally had enough. Gazing up to the heavens above and wishing to seek salvation. A mass-produced model ZX Nikke stood up for herself and her fellow sisters of battle. Rallying together as many as she could, they decided to leave the Ark and go to the surface, choosing a rapture-infested land over the sanctity of the Ark and the humans they were made to protect. As the news spread throughout the Ark about the mass exodus of over 200 mass-produced Nikkes towards the surface, the central government, seeing this as mass desertion, cut power to the elevator as it was high into the air above the Ark, 2.5 miles or 4 kilometers in the air. Humanity looked up and watched as the group of over 200 Nikkes in the elevator began to free fall towards the Ark, reaching insane speeds. The resulting impact would wipe out a major portion of the Ark's main city, resulting in untold amounts of death and destruction. Inside the plummeting elevator, the 200 Nikkes looked up towards the surface as their freedom from all the hate and pain slipped away, out of their control, once again, as things have always been. Knowing the damage that the falling elevator will cause to the citizens in the Ark below. In their final moments, they decide to save the very people who despised and hated them. The 200 Nikkes huddled together, and with one voice they cried out, self-destructing together and destroying the elevator before it impacted the ark below, saving the ark and countless human lives that lived there. After the destruction of the elevator and 200 mass-produced Nikkes, a massive shift in the public perception of Nikkes had started to take place. Public outcry over how the central government had handled the situation led to massive civil rights movements and the enforcement of Nikke rights as civil servants for humanity, naming this historical event the Goddess Fall. New laws were instilled, and Nikkes were starting to no longer be viewed as just machines. Though Nikke phobia still strongly remains to this day, the efforts of the commander and the counters has made massive progress towards the acceptance of Nikkes in society. The elevator that sealed the fate of 200 Nikkes when its doors closed had become a common topic of many political discussions after it was repaired and reopened. The elevator had become a strong symbol of the personal rights of Nikkes. And according to the rumors, a lot of accidents have happened to the same elevator after its reconstruction, as it has never quite operated right since then. Back in the elevator with Rappy, Anise, Neon, and the commander, Neon finishes retelling the story, recounting the exact elevator's model number, GQWRA-01249, which is the exact same model number as the elevator that is in the outpost, the elevator that they are currently inside. Anise turns and looks at Neon, who doesn't look quite right, and she asks if that really is Neon. Neon speaks with a voice that isn't her own as everything turns black and white. No, it's not. Take it easy. I've confirmed your thoughts, as well as your commander's thoughts. You don't have to worry. As long as you remember us, as long as you still believe that we were noble, and as long as you still feel sad when you think about us, this elevator will never go wrong. The 200 Nikkes will always protect you. Silence fills the elevator as it finally reaches its destination and stops. The doors open and Neon is standing outside, asking why they have left her behind. Neon, seeing them distraught, asks if everyone is okay, and the commander turns to Anise and asks her if she's scared. But Anise says no. She is just thankful that there is somewhere for her to go after she dies. The Goddess Fall is the only historical event we know that does not involve the Goddess Squad. In fact, the fandom page online shows it to be the only historical event there. There is so much more to the lore of the game than we see in major or minor events that we are given to play. This historical event, which massively aligns with the commander's main goal of giving rights to the Nikkes, is only really brought up in a single brief encounter at the start of a player's experience, before they can fully realize its importance. In fact, the game reminds us of this tragic event every single time we open it. When we boot up Nikke, we are met with Rappy riding on a cargo elevator, as the song of the Goddess Fall plays, a constant reminder of what we are truly fighting for. Not just the surface, not just humanity, but the lives of the Nikkes who've given themselves up for that goal. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed. I'm Gnungagap III, and I will see you all next time.